I guess today's Friday now. I was thinking about, I've been really gravitated towards thinking about the unification of matter and everything that we consider to be separate, like the unification of it. And I've just found examples all the time. That is also it's also the. I guess I should probably kind of explain that because it's not going to make any sense. There's not really. So, like the ultimate reality is that everything that we perceive and everything that is material, in physicality. Like I'm talking about in physicality. I'm not talking about like the quality of your soul. So everything in physicality is entirely interchangeable, and that's just the truth. And science is they're starting to pick it up right now, but they've still got a ways to go to where they like wrap their heads around that. And so I don't think it's like accepted. At least it's not a common thing in public discussion between people. Like people aren't familiar with this idea, but it is true, and it goes all the way into like everything from like theories on energy to chemicals to freaking mathematics. It goes into ideas. It goes into everything, and I see examples of it all the time. I catch lots of scientists like discovering things, and it all lends towards this. And the reason why is because that's the reality. So the latest thing would be like like I was researching a pretty wild boy explosive. It's called N-nitroglycine, which should be it's a really powerful explosive, extremely powerful. It's like approaching the DNU salts, which are really, I mean, they're like, some of those salts detonate at like 8,900 meters per second, which is on the order of like the highest explosive materials that are discovered. I mean, you have some more than that, but they're very, kind of ridiculous to synthesize. Like it's not like an easy process or anything. So this compound that was found that's similar to the DNU salts. It's the way that they produce it is through like biosynthesis. So they are taking some kind of bioorganism. Like I'm talking about something that like just looks like, it probably looks like fluid, but it's a bioorganism, and they're giving it feedstock, and then they're able to control, kind of like you use yeast to ferment, it consumes sugar, ethyl alcohol, right? And other products too, but ethyl alcohol being like the gold. Feedstocks and extrudes fucking the highest order explosives that anybody knows. So it's just like to me, I read that and I'm just, all these people are using hazardous, like really hazardous chemicals to try to get like these super high energy, energetic materials. And then, there's some dude just like, look, I feed my chia pet this and I get the boom boom. It's just very interesting. It's very interesting. There's going to be within that, this is all pretty new. I think that one's from like 2015, so it's kind of old, but I think probably like the spooks got a hold of them now, and I'm sure that they're researching, they're like probably like really digging in and trying to figure out how to identify the mechanism of how that works, so then they can alter it to produce all of the demo, which is very, like especially stuff like HMX and stuff like that for which is kind of like the highest velocity mass-produced demo for the military. It uses an intermediary called DPT, which is kind of, it can be a pain. Like the way that they do it is a pain in the ass. You can't get it from like urea. Yeah, it's a multi-step thing, but they don't do that, and they, it's very intensive. So I'm sure that they're trying to figure out a way to understand this mechanism of how you can get bioorganisms to excrete the exact, compound. In this case, it's a nitramine, which is, like your nitramine is on the order of your highest explosives. Like some of your craziest demo are nitramines. And some of the most effective demo that they've used, that they've invested money in for military applications. They're learning new things all the time and always trying to bend them to the purpose of affecting humanity. And it never ends. There is no beginning and no end. It doesn't stop. There's you can unfold the science and discovery and investigation of matter and material, and eventually, when they get far enough, what they're gonna figure out is that it's all the same thing. It's entirely interchangeable, and that is the reason that you find parallel. You can find like parallel production. You can find like reflective matter or like mirrored matter. Like all of these things, they're just. It's like this, right? Like we assume that the world is what it is, right? Well, right off the bat. I mean, most animals at night, they're going to be like double doping their light. So when you shine a light in an animal with like reflect eyes in general, depending on the ocular construction, they're double, or in some cases a lot more than twice as much. And that's how a lot of mammals see light. But they're also sensitive to, in many cases, they're sensitive to entire ranges of the electromagnetic spectrum that we are not. Okay, the same thing with like physics, with electromagnetic physics. We have gamma rays shooting through the fucking planet like it's fucking butterscotch. Like the people don't even really know. They like to pretend like they know what they do. They don't know what they do. They're shooting all over the place. They zip right through this bitch like 25 Mike, just one side of the planet, not the other. And they're like, oh, there's a planet, fuck you, and they just zip right through it. And I'm like, what are these doing? What are these going through the planet for? Like we don't even catch any of them. Like what's going on? So they're trying to figure that out all the time. Point of me saying that is that like there is a lot going on that we do not utilize. Obviously, like the infrared spectrum, once you get out of visible range, we have developed technology to use that, but it's not within our design, in our organic creation of like what we're born as to see that. But there are other things that are born to see that. So it's there, right? It's there, and there's an entire world there, but it's not really for us. I mean, it can be if we make it, but we don't see it. Like we certainly don't see it with the naked eye. What we do see when we're using infrared sensitive, optics and things like that is only a representation of it. We're not really seeing the actual quality of what is in that. You're using something as an intermediary, which would be like a like a tube in a night vision device to translate this thing that we can't access into a medium that we can't access in the visible spectrum. So you're not really seeing night vision, you're just seeing a representation of what it would look like if you could see at night. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I mean by, when we look at the world and we say everything's physical and everything's exactly how it is. It's what we see, what we interact with, and how we interact with matter and things like that are it's just a teeny little slice. You know what I mean? And it's what we're designed to do. I mean, it's not a mistake. It's the way that it should be. It's what's right. And just because you can't access other parts of it doesn't mean they aren't there. And if you accept that there are things that are all over the place that we can't even like utilize, and there's surely a lot of things, you know, like dark. I know the theories on like dark matter and shit like that. I'm sure there's a lot of shit out there that we don't even know about. You know, it's very, you know, homogeneously thick with shit that we can't use in this creation, and but we don't see it, right? We only see like with our senses, but other creatures see with their senses something else, right? They're both real. We don't have access to it. And so this is the you know, if you accept that, right? If you like cancel these things out, right? Like cross them over like algebra, then what that would mean would be that like the things that you accept aren't real, right? Because the creature that only sees in the infrared spectrum or in the, you know, the you know, long wave infrared spectrum or whatever it is, whatever type of sensitivity it is from a sense or from a part of the creation, if they're sensitive in that, and that's it, and they don't see what we're sensitive to, and they have no idea about it, have no perception of it, then to us it's not real, and to them kind of what's going on, but it's not really accessible in the qualitative form that our creation and existence is. And so it's not real. Like it's real, but it's not they can cancel each other out when you cross them over. So what I'm saying is that to the creature that doesn't have the sensitivity in our way, this world is entirely different and probably completely unrecognizable, non-interchangeable, and would never functionally interchange. And so these are like separate worlds that are overlaid onto each other and have no crossover. They don't have any crossover whatsoever. I mean, in terms of the beings, they have crossover in terms of the design, not in terms of the beings. And in that same way, it's the same thing as when you pick up, you know, when you do color contrast and a color changes in the visible spectrum, and you see a gray and then it changes to a gray, or you see like a blue, like you paint a room blue and then you paint the door a different color and then it changes the color of the room to a different blue and then you don't like it as much. Like originally you have like an emotional connection to the blue and you're like, I love this blue. And then you paint something else in the room a different color, or do something that you're like, this kind of makes me feel sick, or whatever. I mean, you're probably not that like sensitive about color emotionally, hopefully. But just as an example, so that you can get the idea, that is the thing that I'm talking about. So like you see the color, it's not really the color, right? Like you can clearly see from that example, the color changes, right? And that's because it's the way that, you know, you are created to take in this part of creation that's meant for you, but not other parts. You see that? And so the senses, all of the senses, therefore, in all practical, I mean, not even a practical, in a literal meaning, all the senses, the things that we sense, aren't real.